right, Coach.
To my untrained eye, after Luka turned his ankle and got retaped, it seemed like when he came back in, he was approaching the game more at his pace and maybe slower at his usual pace. What did you see in the early game Luka versus the after that Luka?
Yeah, I thought he looked great the whole time. So, you know, I know that he tweaked it a little bit because he took a little bit of an awkward fall and slipped on the floor. But I think he went back and got it loosened up, got it retaped at at the right, whatever the correct tape pressure was. He came back and the guy had 42 and a bunch of assists. I mean, all things considered, I thought he looked good the whole way. If you're asking if
what about the early turnovers, what you think it could have been overly?
Yeah, listen, no, some of those turnovers were caused by poor spacing and us not being in the places we should have been. And look, if you're playing against the Clippers, who are a good defensive team, you've got to use the space on the floor correctly. And early in the game, we did not. And throughout the game, I thought we got a little better as time went on. But spacing is a huge key to our success of our offensive game to start with. And when it's off, and you got guys that are great defenders with active hands, you're going to have some problems.
Coach, and then Joe's got a question.
So, Luka, when he fell, like he was upset with the attendants, like as though the floor was wet, or they should have. And I'm not, I'm Luka for being upset. My question is there a problem with the floor being wetter than it should be closer to the basket? Guys are falling.
I don't know. There shouldn't be. To my knowledge, the climate should be perfect. They've got the humidity, they got the temperature, they've got everything going in there. There's not a lot of influence by a big crowd or anything like that. So I'm not sure the answer. I have seen some guys slip. But if I was a player and I slipped and, there was nobody near me, I'd be concerned too, So was that the question?
Yeah, like I said, it's fine that I wasn't picking on Luka at all. I was just wondering if he was upset about it to the point where it was on his mind that this was happening. So I just wondered if you thought that there was a general problem of players slipping too much.
I've seen a few players slip. And I don't know. I've been on the floor, and when you go on the floor and you check it out, it seems like it's okay for the most part. But I have seen some guys slip. I mean, Leonard slipped last night. I think it's like Giannis slipped. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully that they get it. If there is an issue, that it gets resolved. But if your question is, did that affect his game or whatever? Guy keeps playing. He keeps playing. He's remarkable that way.
Okay, Eddie, you're up.
Rick, earlier today, Doc said he wasn't a real big fan of the air punch technical, especially when it's not really directed at a ref so it's a sign of disrespect to the game. What's your feeling on that? And just in general, in the playoffs, do you think maybe players ought to be allowed to have a little more expression?
Yes. There's context to everything. I don't know. I'm not sure where we got to a point where punching the air should be an automatic anything. A lot of people view it as a disrespect to the officials, but sometimes players are just mad at themselves. So I don't know. If I say too much, I'll lose $50,000. So I'm going to stop there. But I
okay.
Like Doc, I was disappointed.
Okay, Saad?
Hey, Rick. Obviously, we talk a lot about the matchups with the players and things like that, but I'm curious, when you're going up against an elite coach like Doc Rivers, what kind of X factors does that bring into the series, and how is it kind of matching up with someone, obviously you're also at that level, and with Doc being at that level as well, as an elite coach in the NBA?
Well, that's what the playoffs all about, is, going against the best. And so I love the challenge. And look, we've had some great opportunities over the years. We had a great series with San Antonio in 14, when, with Pop's team that eventually went on to win the championship. I've been in series against Doc before. He's a great coach. And you got to be ready for a lot of situations they throw at you that are tough to deal with.
Okay, final question is from Manolo.
Yes, I want to know, how do you keep this team with this mental toughness and avoiding getting these type of players like Morris and Patrick Beverly? They're players that like to get into the players' heads. How do you work with this for the following game?
We got to concentrate on our process, playing our game, understand that there's definitely an emotional aspect to playoff basketball. There are instances, when it gets physical. Sometimes players try to incite emotion, stuff like that. We've got to work together to stay on an even keel. You can't get too high, you can't get too low. Early in the game, we're down, 18-2. Our guys did a great job of just, settling one another, continuing to play. And they worked their way back into it, and we had a lead at the end of the first quarter. That's how you got to play. And we've all got to find energy and strength from each other. Because playoff basketball is very challenging, very difficult. And teams bring their best. Thanks.
Thanks, Rick. Talk to you tomorrow.